2026 began with an eerie silence, but behind the doors of Buckingham Palace, a silent power struggle was underway. When King Charles III faced health challenges, the question was, is Queen Camilla becoming the true helmsman of the dynasty? Is this true resilience or merely an elaborate charade to protect the throne? What do you think? Comment number 1 if you believe in resilience. Mark 0 if you suspect this is a staged event. Remember to like and subscribe to discover the secrets of the British monarchy. The investigation has begun. If we closely observe the royal family's recent actions, we see a subtle shift. The most powerful figure seems to appear less frequently in front of the cameras. Instead, there are brief announcements about treatment. Analysts are asking, when the lighthouse no longer shines as brightly as before, who is steering the ship of the kingdom? In the documentary Behind Closed Doors, Queen Camilla offers haunting glimpses into her first year on the throne. She speaks of cycles of trauma and efforts to heal society. But the public noticed a small detail on the Isle of Man in March 2024. When asked about the king's health, she chose to confront the issue rather than avoid it. Some argue that her public statements about obstacles in managing the king's health were not simply a medical update. Could this be a psychological stepping stone to gradually acclimate the Queen's dominant presence in major decisions? Another perspective is more humane. It could be the outburst of a partner after months of bearing the burden of pressure. When the royal robes become too heavy in the face of nature's challenges, are those words a reassuring message or a subtle plea for help regarding a harsher truth unfolding within? The contrast between the healthy appearance she describes and the king's restricted activities creates a logical loophole. If everything is fine, why has the balance of power in the palace shifted so dramatically? The contrast between the healthy appearance she describes and the king's restricted activities creates a logical loophole. If everything was fine, why did the balance of power in the palace shift so dramatically? Are we witnessing the truth or only what is allowed to be seen? Are the Queen's heartfelt confessions a shield protecting the dynasty or a key to unlocking a new chapter we were unprepared for? To understand Queen Camilla's current position, we must turn back the pages of controversial history. In the minds of many, her journey to the throne was not a path paved with roses, but a liberation from the ghosts of the past. Whispers about the events of the previous decade still echoed, making her legitimacy a major question mark. However, history always takes unexpected turns. Could someone who was once at the center of public opinion become the most reliable anchor for the dynasty in times of crisis? If you observe closely, you'll notice a subtle shift. The most powerful figure seems to appear less frequently in front of the cameras. Instead, there are brief announcements about the treatment process. When the lighthouse no longer shines as brightly as before, who is truly steering the ship of the kingdom? In the documentary Behind Closed Doors, the Queen mentioned the cycle of trauma. But observers are paying attention to the detail at the Isle of Man. She chose to confront the issue directly rather than avoid it when discussing the king's health. Could this be a psychological stepping stone to allow the public to gradually become accustomed to the Queen's dominant presence in major decisions? Or was it simply a humane outburst from a life partner after days of bearing the burden of pressure? The contrast between the king's outwardly optimistic demeanor and his restricted activities creates a logical loophole. Are we witnessing the truth or only what is allowed to be seen? Prince William and Princess Catherine, symbols of steadfastness, they serve as pillars of steel upholding public trust. Prince Harry. A message from afar, bridging geographical distances with genuine understanding. Princess Anne, the younger sister who is believed to be bearing the heaviest burden of grief over her brother's misfortunes. But just when the world believed the royal family had established a solid defense line, a new crack appeared right at the epicenter. In November 2024, an unprecedented event occurred: a mass absence. Queen Camilla unexpectedly canceled important ceremonies at Westminster Abbey. The official announcement stated a lung infection and the need for rest as advised by her doctor. However, with the king also facing a rigorous treatment regimen, this absence inevitably raised sharp questions from the public. Is this merely a medical coincidence, or a sign of a system being overwhelmed by immense pressure? The fact that the Duchess of Gloucester had to replace her at important diplomatic events sparked a wave of conspiracy theories. Was the true state of the royal court being concealed to avoid a widespread crisis of confidence? With both of the palace's highest symbols facing physical challenges simultaneously, the future of the monarchy presented an unprecedented governance dilemma. The velvet curtains of Buckingham Palace remained drawn, yet the scripts of the future continued to be written by the world's curiosity. Are we witnessing a monarchy striving for transformation, or are we seeing the most fragile moments of a 1,000-year institution? Are we truly observing the breaking point of this millennium-old establishment? If you feel yes and believe a major shift or an underlying upheaval is being prepared, please leave a number 2 in the comments. If no and you believe this is simply a brief rest as announced, leave a number 5. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe right now so you don't miss our upcoming deep dive analyses. In the world of symbols, presence is power. But what happens when two of a nation's most revered symbols simultaneously face a health crisis? Observers are speculating about a worrying scenario: a kingdom without a direct leader. Queen Camilla's absence following the king's announcement has created a terrifying power vacuum. Remember the dark shadow that fell over the Princess of Wales, Catherine, earlier this year. Although she declared victory in her silent battle in September, its aftermath remains a grim reminder of the monarchy's fragility in the face of the trials of nature. Is Buckingham experiencing a bigger health crisis than what's being reported in the press? To understand Camilla's position, one must turn back the pages of her controversial history. Her journey was not a bed of roses, but a triumph over the ghosts of the past. However, history always takes a different turn. Can someone who was once at the center of public opinion become the most reliable anchor in times of trouble? History is the most honest mirror. In the 1950s, King George VI kept his health a closely guarded secret to protect the nation's image, leading to shock when the funeral bells rang. In contrast, Princess Margaret chose to publicly acknowledge her decline, bridging the gap with the common people. Buckingham Palace is currently torn between these two strategies: security for stability or transparency for empathy. In November 2024, an unprecedented event occurred: a mass absence. When both the king and queen had to temporarily leave the stage due to health reasons, an astonishing power pause occurred. Camilla's dedication to organizations such as Macmillan, it's not just a ceremonial role, but an inner empathy. But when the torchbearer also faces the cold winds of exhaustion, who will be there to give her strength? Perhaps these rifts are the strongest glue binding the royal family and the people together. We stand before a new chapter in British royal history, where the lines between privacy and official duty are blurred more than ever. Apologies for absences, optimistic announcements of recovery, and even veiled silences, all are creating a multifaceted picture. Where does the truth lie behind the closed doors of the palace? Is it a dynasty resiliently healing itself, or the beginning of an inevitable power transition, the tip of which we have only just begun to see? Our investigation goes beyond dry medical reports, delving into an unprecedented psychological shift. Queen Camilla, once a figure at the center of controversy, is becoming a symbol of empathy. Why did she choose to confront serious illnesses like cancer and osteoporosis with such determination? This is explored in the organization's coffee chat sessions. Macmillan, or those quiet visits to the laboratories, were not just a ritual. It was her way of humanizing the crown. As she confronted her own lung infection, the public no longer saw a distant monarch, but a human being battling the limits of her physical being. Could it be that these rifts in health are the strongest glue binding the royal family and ordinary people together? One notable hypothesis is being discussed by international observers. Is healthcare transparency a new diplomatic tactic? Beyond the borders of England, major powers are looking to Buckingham as a model of adaptation. The public disclosure of the hidden aspects of royal health is not merely an act of honesty, but a far-reaching policy reform. Under the king's approval, a new wave of health awareness is spreading, promising a comprehensive transformation of the national healthcare system. But consider the perseverance of the leading couple. King Charles III, a guardian of the environment and sustainability, has dedicated his life to preparing for a greener era. And now, as he and the Queen face personal challenges, they are writing a chapter of unwavering determination together. Their legacy is not just about laws, but about the ability to modernize an ancient institution in its most fragile moments. We have explored the hidden corners of the palace, from the secrets of the past to the transparency of the present. Queen Camilla and King Charles III stand before a stage larger than ever before, where every step, every breath, and every announcement is scrutinized under the microscope of history. Light is gradually returning behind the stone walls of Buckingham, but the questions remain. Is this transparency a voluntary choice or a necessity of the times? After the storms of health issues, in what direction will a more human monarchy lead the world? The truth may have layers we have yet to uncover, and time will be the fairest judge. King Charles III and Queen Camilla are standing before a stage larger than ever before, where every step they take will be scrutinized under the microscope of history. Light is gradually returning behind Buckingham Palace's stone walls, but the question remains, is this transparency a voluntary choice or a necessity of the times? After the health storms, in what direction will a more humane monarchy lead the world? And what do you see in Queen Camilla's announcement? A much-needed reassurance or a signal of a major change about to begin? Is this change an opportunity for the British monarchy to connect more closely with the public, or a way to cope with inevitable challenges? Where power lies not only in the throne, but also in how leadership is accepted and understood, is Buckingham experimenting with a new model of leadership. A model that is based not only on power, but also on connection and empathy. It's time to ask ourselves, will this transparency become the norm in the royal world? Or is it merely a stepping stone to a broader transfer of power? With constant shifts in health and power, is the United Kingdom facing an unprecedented power restructuring? As the health of royal icons like King Charles and Queen Camilla gradually declines, is it time for the next generation, such as Prince William and Princess Catherine, to prepare to take over? These questions are not only important for the royal family, but also for the nation as a whole, as they will determine the direction and image of a changing monarchy. Looking deeper into public psychology, could disclosing health status be a tactic to maintain public trust? Is the British monarchy trying to demonstrate that transparency during difficult times is crucial to maintaining public respect and trust? Or is it simply part of a long-term strategy to consolidate its power in a world that increasingly demands openness and integrity from symbols of power? A major question is being asked: can this dynasty maintain stability while facing unprecedented challenges? As the heads of the royal family begin to show signs of weakness, can the dynasty find strength from within, not just from political power, but also from understanding patience and resilience? All will be revealed in the coming months as crucial decisions are made by this powerful duo. King Charles III and Queen Camilla stand before a stage larger than ever before, where every step is scrutinized under the microscope of history. Light is gradually returning behind the stone walls, but the question remains: is this transparency a voluntary choice or a necessity of the times after the storms? In what direction will a more humane dynasty lead the world? What do you see in Queen Camilla's announcement? A much-needed reassurance or a signal of